1, and we're going. Hello, we are doing a review of the current state as of, I don't know, some date, 3rd of February of Shit Balls Cube. We're going over every single card in the cube and putting them on a tier list. Uh, we should probably start with explaining what the tiers mean. So, with S, we're saying you should basically always pick this card. If you see it, you should pick it over anything that isn't in S. Right? Agree, Drafter?
Oh yeah.
So,
For some quick introductions for the people, I am Drafter and
yeah,
my co-commentator is Syrian. I'm sure
yeah,
you know us if you're watching this, but
true.
but
Uh,
yeah.
and
So the S tier cards are like truly like the most broken shit.
yeah,
Like
you are always
the
picking
creme de
this
la
card.
creme.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're always picking this card. Like, basically, it will fit in your deck, but if it doesn't, you're making sure it will fit in your deck.
Yep.
A plus is like, if you can at all fit this in what you're doing, you should try as hard as you can to get it in there, because it is that
Yeah.
good. A is
Like
like really, really good. You love playing this card. You will, if you see it early, you will absolutely like make sure you can get it in your deck. But if it's like pack 3, you have a solid base and it doesn't fit, then you're probably gonna
not
debate passing it.
warping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And A minus is like, you're super happy picking this, you're gonna try to pick it, but if it is outside of what you're doing and you have some other good cards, you're probably passing on it. But
Yep.
if you can splash for it, then you're still going to try.
I think anything in A is like worth considering
Yeah.
splashing to a varying degree.
Yeah, anything in A, you're gonna try to make fit in your deck with various degrees of how hard you're willing to try to get it in.
Yeah.
With B, you're just like, it isn't a like deck warping power level, but you still really want to play all of them.
B are your like good playables. You're
Yeah,
like
for
these
you're like
cards feel
super happy.
great.
You're super happy with this, but you're not warping your deck construction around getting it to
If
be
you
in there.
if you can get your deck to be all A's and B's, you should feel like pretty happy with what you've
If your
done, you
deck is
know?
all A and B's, you should win the draft,
Yes.
depending. C's are like, they're playables. You're not unhappy to have them in your deck, but you would rather have better cards, and they're not really cards you are like going to like focus around.
Yep.
These are just like the worst cards you're like okay with having in your deck. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll play it. It's not horrible. I just don't want to play it.
You're just really not excited about it.
E is like, I this is better than a 24th basic land, or
E-
a 7 and 17 for 18th basic land.
Yeah, E
And
is the cards that me and Syrian should really have cut. It's just like we have it
e,
because we
e,
think they're funny or have
yeah,
like
E
some
are
like
cards that
reason
like
to
will
it.
probably get cut at some point. F are cards that will get cut in the near future due to being
Yeah.
bad. And
And
then
then we
you can
added a
explain.
little sideboard tier just because some cards are just going to be stone unplayable in your main deck, but out of the sideboard can be very powerful.
Yeah, not an example from this cube, but if you're playing against shops, Vandal Blast becomes a significantly better card.
Also, if you just skip to the end and look at the tiers and decide that some of the tiering looks like bullshit, you should skip to the part of the video where we do actually talk about it and hear our logic before you make fun of us on the internet. Just
Yeah,
saying.
true, but you should still make fun of us on the internet because it builds
That's true.
algorithm when you comment.
Actually, I lied. Just make fun of us on the internet. I really don't care.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so now with the oh yeah, by the way, one thing, these categories are self-explanatory. Other is for things that aren't normally Magic cards, so conspiracies, vanguards, heroes.
Yeah.
Uh,
We'll save those
we'll
for
do
the
that.
end.
We'll
They
do them
should
at
be
the
a
end.
lot of fun
Yeah.
to tier them.
Okay, so let's get started.
Alrighty.
And the first card in the first bucket is Esper Sentinel, which is pretty decent card.
Yeah.
So
I still
inter-
think Esper Sentinel qualifies as an A,
no,
just not
no,
that kind of
you're
power.
not going into white, so you can play Esper Sentinel.
But I
But
do
if
think
you're
it's a
white,
B.
yeah, if you're white, you're happy to pick this card. I think it
I
has the downside of not like actually disrupting your opponent, so I'd probably put it around B instead of
I'm
V3.
feeling a flat B as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Esper Sentinel,
Because,
good card.
like, if your
You're
opponent's
happy to play
comboing
it.
off, you will draw the card, but you
Yeah,
won't
and then you
stop
die.
them. Yeah.
But it is just a very annoying play on one for like your opponent. Like they
Yeah.
have to like if they're not winning the game, they have to seriously consider trying to pay the tax.
Yeah, exactly. And fair magic does happen in this cube.
Yeah. And much like Legacy, sometimes the combos all fail and you have to play fair magic.
Yeah. Okay, so
I think we can hit Giver and Mother basically
yeah,
together because I think they're the same card with Mother being a little bit better.
yeah.
I think
Mother is better
Mother,
because it protects itself. Pro colorless. Schulps is a meh archetype in this cube, so the
yeah,
pro
the
colorless isn't
colorless
that
is
important.
good, but Mom being able to save herself is so much better
Yeah.
than Giver being able to
Um,
give
I think
colorless.
Mom is actually very, very good in this cube because of
I
how
agree.
busted some of the creatures are.
Yes,
I think I would rather have Mom on one than I would have Esper Sentinel on one.
I agree. I think I
If your
put
deck
Mom a B
at all
plus.
has busted creatures in it, which it generally should. I think
Yeah.
Mom and Giver, to a lesser extent, are both B plus.
I think Giver is actually a whole tier worse. I think it
You
is a
think it's
B.
yeah, I guess Mom is really good. Yeah, I agree actually.
Yeah.
Giver and B makes sense. Because Mom is
Yeah.
just that busted. Because if you don't kill it immediately, it just stays around, and
Yes.
protecting your other creatures from removal is important, but Mom
Yes.
just does that better by not dying herself.
Mom is just a not okay magic card. The fact
Yeah.
that this thing exists is horrifying. uh Inspector, eh? Inspector certainly worse than anything we've looked at
Yes.
before.
I
I think it goes
So,
is
like,
it
if I am playing like DNT, I'm not happy playing this card because it doesn't
no.
affect my opponent. It doesn't kill them. It doesn't stop them from doing things, and it's not that efficient of a card engine.
No.
If I'm playing like, if I care about the artifact, it is a bit better. If I'm playing something like a,
Yeah.
I think it is still like probably somewhere around D. I'm not happy playing Trevor Inspector.
I am inclined to agree. It's just a little too
I,
slow and fair in this format.
yeah, I'm not sure if
I
I put
think
it D plus or D. I
I feel like I do like Thraben Inspector is one of those cards that's never too awful because it does refund you the card eventually, and
Yeah.
getting a lot of mana is not terribly hard in this cube.
Yeah,
I'd give it a D plus.
yeah, I think that's fair. There's definitely things I would would spend my would. I think there's a lot of things I'd rather spend my mana on, but
Yeah,
the potential of drawing one of your broken cards is very useful.
it's true.
It,
That is one of the like just as a quick tangent on the cube as a whole. There is a massive power discrepancy among like some of the cards. Like some of the customized cards are just more horrifying than any Magic card will ever be. The A
yeah.
tier is going to mostly be populated
It,
by just these
yeah.
horrifying custom
I
creations.
I think a normal Magic card that doesn't have special ruling attacks will likely never be above A minus. Like
Yeah.
we have to fill out the entire thing for me to like truly say that, but I
Yes.
expect that to happen.
Yeah, with the like exclusion of like some of the power
Yeah,
and that shit.
Power 9 is not S tier, for context.
No. Yeah, yeah. All right, but
Okay.
tangent
Okay, here,
skipped.
well, tangent,
Now,
here is a fucked card that is a fucked custom card.
yes. So
This card
thing
is
about
a Boros card, which is,
yes,
but
it's a very strange build around. It's one of those things where it is very powerful, but you need to be in a red leaning white deck.
well,
Like,
you want to be in a red deck that's ideally you want to have as many red spells, so this is a card for your white splash, which
yeah,
white splashing is useful in red decks because
yeah,
if you're going for any type of aggressive style, you want the combo disruptors that white give you. And
yes,
uh, if you have a red commander, this card gets a lot better.
that is true.
For context, there are cards that say they can be your commander. That means in this cube, they can be your commander.
Yes, we take the can be your commander as like a rule text. They can be your commander.
Yeah.
So yeah, this card is immensely powerful build around.
The build is hard, and there are better build arounds.
Yes.
I'm
I think that leans me towards saying the problem is it is a F card if you can't build around it. It is just a
I
1 mana O1.
yes, you are if you're picking this card after you're either picking this card really early and thereby deciding two of your colors, which is has
Bad.
downsides, or
Yeah.
you're already in red. So
I
I don't think you can like lean into this card as an archetype. So I don't think it's an A card. I do think it is probably B or B plus.
I think the fact that it is such a hard build around hurts it in the tier ranking. It
Yeah,
has peak potential of being an A worthy card in your deck, but I think it should probably like sit in like C plus just
uh,
for how hard the build around is on it.
I think the upside is so large because notably this card does not say cast from your hand. So if you cascade into
Oh
a red
yeah,
card, you get another cascade.
absolutely.
I
Why don't
I
we split the difference and call it a B
yeah,
minus?
I think B minus is fair for this. It's really good if you can build around it, but building around it is quite hard, and there are better build arounds in the queue.
Yeah. But do like keep in mind if you're seeing this card going around in pack one and you've been drafting some red cards, like if this wheels to you in pack one and you've been drafting red cards, take this thing, it's gonna be busted.
Yeah, if you are playing red anyway and can afford at all to splash white, then this card is insanely good.
Absolutely. So yeah.
Okay, let's get to our first like semi stacks piece.
Yeah, well, whatever, Heart.
This card is not that. It's a relatively harsh stacks piece, especially against something like Storm, because Storm draws a lot of cards and wants to cast them immediately, which this card just owns you pretty hard at. The stat line is
Yeah.
also not horrible.
The
Um,
card is very Thalia-esque in my mind.
yeah, it's Talia-esque. The fact that it affects your spells is useful, although the decks that play it tend to not draw that many cards in a turn.
Yeah.
But it can definitely, like, in a pinch, you get lucky, top deck a 4-drop on turn 3, and you're really happy with it. And
Yeah,
a
it can
1-2
certainly
double
be
strike, if
powerful.
you can give it power at all, that makes it kinda scary.
Absolutely. Um, I
I
don't
think
think it's as good as the stuff we have in B.
yeah, I think the thing with Defentex is that it's an archetype where you jam like a large amount of C plus cards in your deck that just all work together in making your opponent not play Magic very well.
Yeah.
I think
I
Captain Eberhard and Talia are comparably good. They host different things, but they're both very good at doing that.
yeah.
I think
I
I'd put it in C plus.
I feeling good about C plus as well.
Yeah, I don't think you're forcing DNT because you see Captain Eberhard, but if you're playing white and being completely asymmetrical makes it a lot better to splash in just random decks. Like,
Oh, for sure.
this card is also good in Storm because
Yeah,
your spells costing less is very strong for 2 mana.
it's true.
It's a very flexible card.
Yeah. No, I like
If there's
Everhart.
nothing busted in a pack, it's a solid pick because you're probably not unhappy playing it.
Yeah. I think it feels like a great C plus.
Yeah.
The
Kefar Commando.
commando.
Okay, so this effect is less insane than it would be in some other places because Shops isn't that busted. And
That's
a
true.
lot of the very, very busted cards are creatures, but a lot of them
Yep.
are not. And you
Yep.
need some way of getting rid of some of the really busted artifacts.
It's true. And the nice thing is when your opponent doesn't play an artifact or an enchantment, unlike a lot of artifact enchantment destruction, this thing beats down for 3.
Yeah, and 3 does kill your opponent, and killing
Pretty
your opponent is
efficiently.
good. Like,
Yeah. I think Cathar Commando, I think this is just a nice clean C. Like,
yeah, I would debatably lean towards C plus because it's probably one of my favorite pieces of artifact enchantment removal to have. Like, I guess I'd rather have something like just remove anything.
yeah, there is some efficient removal in this
Yeah,
cube. And this card is like pretty fair at the end of
yeah.
the day, but
It
it's a good kind of fair.
yeah. I mean D&T ends up being a probably top 4, top 3 archetype. So even with playing a bunch of fair cards, you can definitely succeed. Ah,
Absolutely.
now we have our unfair card. Okay,
That's true.
so this card, as long as you have a creature in play, basically, you will be the monarch on your turn.
Yeah.
Your opponent can steal it and draw a card, but you don't have to do effort. This does at worst give you a Dark Confidant effect.
Yeah.
Also,
This
you draw
card
an
is
end step, which is more better because you draw instantly.
yeah, this card is pretty gross. Yeah, it's Bob on crack basically.
Yeah, which is not a unique signifier, but like
Yeah.
if you're playing creatures at all, this card is great. So like it's
Yeah.
definitely I think at low I don't think it's a like snap pick card because there are better card advantage engines. But
Yep.
it's a really good card advantage engine that you are very happy to play. Like you will pick a couple more one drops so you can support this card better.
I agree.
So I think it
Uh
goes at somewhere in B probably.
I agree. I'm debating between a B and a B plus personally.
Um yeah.
I
Uh
think this card is Mother of Runes is such a fucked card.
y-
I think this card's a B.
I think this is a B too.
Yeah.
Uh Ranif Magistrate. This card has like stopping commanders is extremely relevant rules text. It also stops companions because we're playing with pre-nerf companion rules, so it
It's true.
actually works again.
Yep.
Um, for the rest, there's a couple really fucked cards that it stops, but there's also a lot of really fucked cards that it does absolutely nothing against, and in a fair matchup, this card blows. Like,
Oh, for sure.
I think this might be the first card we put in sideboard, because
Yeah.
if your opponent has a commander, you love this, you're siding it in. If your opponent
Yep.
doesn't have the shit to abuse it,
Yep.
it's a 1/3. 1/3s
Yeah.
don't kill your
I, I
opponent.
I think it's a powerful sideboard card, but yeah, like if you're starting this in the main deck, it's gonna have some games where it is like a F card because
Yeah.
it's just a 1/3 with no abilities.
Yeah, which I don't think you
So
can afford. So I think I
no,
think it fits sideboard very well.
I
Okay,
agree.
here we have our first fucked up backside. Um, you can see the mana cost in the top right corner. This card doesn't have a backside in how we play the game, so you just play it as this and it stays like this forever.
Yep. These cards are all pretty horrifying.
Yeah,
They just bully any kind of fair
yeah. They
creature
are
beat down
the way
Strand.
creatures work in this cube is that like these cards own the combat staff if there's any of them in play.
Yeah.
So like that's why like Captain Avar's 1/2 double strike is nice, but it doesn't beat a 4/4/2
Yeah.
with many relevant keywords.
Yeah, it's a pretty horrifying card.
Yeah, I don't think this is like I think this is probably mom tier. I think I would put this in B plus. I don't think I would like pivot to playing white to play this card,
Yep.
but I'm really happy to get it.
I'd agree. I like B plus for it that rides as one.
Okay, we
This
have
is just a testament to how good Mom is, by the way.
yes,
The fact
mom
that we
is
put
a
a 2-mana 4/4 with first strike.
It
trample
is
lifelink.
also worth noting, Mom makes all of these cards so much better.
Yes, if you go turn 1 Mom into a turn 2 that rides as one, your opponent's feeling really bad if they wanted to ever win in creature-based combat.
Yeah, and winning through damage also gets hard because you're 8-point life swinging every turn.
Yep, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay, so we have Kafar Commando, but less good.
Yeah, I think this is just Cathar Commando, but 1 tier down. I think it's a C minus. It's just
I
a bad Cathar.
I
Is it?
actually think it's worse. I think it's D plus.
I
Like
think that's fair. It is. It is
dying to
substantially
giving
worse.
the creature back with creature removal is I think worse than having to get rid of the creature, and flash is a useful keyword.
Yeah. All right. I can
Also,
live with
double
C+.
white makes it less splashable, so you have to
Yeah.
actually play white, where this you can reasonably just put in a not really that white deck to get the removal.
Yeah. For all the reasons Syrian said, this card is a lot worse than Cathar Commando, but it still could be useful if your opponent's got enough of that shit.
Okay, so Guardian of Endril. So this is it's a tempo card for sure. You have a curve forever, but that curve is 2 mana 3/1s that tap a permanent.
It's true.
Or no, you don't have a curve forever. I forgot.
Yeah,
No,
it's just for
yeah.
1 turn.
Yeah.
The Evangel is not particularly strong. This is a
No.
card I have tried to get Syrian to cut on a couple occasions.
Yeah, So if I'm playing DNT, do I like this as your late game? You're basically playing it as a 3/1 that has a mode of being a bad sleep.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah,
I think it gets a
I think D. I
D
think it's D
minus.
minus.
Okay, I
I'm
agree.
not happy playing this card, but if I'm playing a very white heavy D&T shell, I will pick it over out of color options.
And we won't put it in the dishonorable E tier to save itself the shame.
Yeah. Spirit of the Labyrinth. So card draw is very good in this cube, and there is a lot of it.
Yes. Like this has some even just in the cards we've seen, like this card fucks up the monarch. Like your opponent just
Yeah.
can't efficiently steal the monarch with this being
It
out.
is notably this card also fucks you over. This card is extremely fair. It is completely symmetrical.
Ah, that is true.
It is just
But
that if your
often,
opponent is playing blue and
yes,
you're not playing blue, really big upside.
it's true. And a lot of your opponents, like if you're drafting like a white X something not blue deck, there's a good shot you're queuing into a blue player because there are a lot of busted blue cards
Yeah,
in this
it's
cube.
also that blue just has like more cards, which
Yes.
also makes
Something
blue
something magic design or
Yeah.
something.
I still think the
Don't
card's very. I think it's probably like
somewhere in the C's, I
I
think.
I would I think it's so
It's worse than
Captain.
Emberheart.
I think it's better than Eberhard in D&T and worse in everything else.
Yeah, Eberhardt's just a little bit more of an
Yeah,
all-rounder.
I think I'd put it in C because it is so restricted to being played in not blue D&T, whereas
Yeah,
Eberhard is you can pivot later out of D&T and it's still a really good card.
yeah, yeah. I like it in C. The
Okay.
nice thing about
Yeah.
Spirit of the Labyrinth and Kisar Commando, they just have good aggressive stat lines as
Yeah.
well.
Okay. For Stoneforge Mystic, I'm quickly going to scroll down to the equipments because there's not that many of them in the current iteration. There is
Yes.
Skull Clamp, Jide, Nettle Cyst, Big Skull Clamp, Sword of Fire and Ice, Batter Skull, and Cauldra. If you can
um,
acquire Cauldra, the card is good.
yeah.
Like,
How good is Stoneforge when you have Cauldra? What tier would we put Stoneforge in, assuming you always
um,
had Cauldra?
I think it probably B minus.
B
Um,
minus. And the fact that you don't always have
yeah,
Cauldra
like
hurts it.
it's a very different card if your equipment is Cauldra or Skull Clamp,
Yeah.
because it's both good. Like if you have two equipments, I think the card is good. Like any two equipments probably make it B. Any two good equipments. Nettlecyst doesn't
Okay.
really count.
Yeah.
You're putting it B minus if you have Cauldra. It's aggressive, but not as good as things as It That Writes at One.
Yeah.
The
I
fact that you
think the
have to
fact that
draft
you
an
have to find it,
equipment
yeah.
kind of makes me put it at C at the highest.
Yeah, I think I'm down for a C on Zone Forge as well. That
Yeah.
sounds right to me.
Talia.
I think she just goes in C plus with Everhard. I think
Yeah.
the cards are
I think they're
basically
very.
analogous.
Talia is better if you are like. After Heart's more generic, Talia hits harder.
Yeah. But both good stack species.
Archon of Emeria is an insane. It is just
Oh,
like in
correct, yeah.
Vintage. It's the best stack piece. Your
Yeah.
opponent cannot combo off with this card in play, and that bottom line is extremely relevant. There's a
Yeah.
bunch of fucked non-basic lands in this cube.
Yeah, this card makes your opponent play fair Magic to the extreme. I think it gets the bump into B minus for it.
I think it actually gets the bump into B. It is that like if I see this card, I am very strongly considering playing DNT so I can play this card as efficiently as possible.
That's fair. It is really good. Yeah, I'm not willing to fight you about B. It seems good in B. I like it.
Even Mind Sensor. This card is
Yeah.
not as good as it looks because you don't like in 40 cards tutors are less strictly necessary. There's a lot of really fucked tutors,
True.
but they cost like 2. So they can often sneak under your Aven, and keeping open 3 mana in your white deck is kind of something you don't want to do.
No, I'm not a
Yeah,
mind sensor enjoyer.
I think it's probably C minus because I'd rather play it than these two.
I'm not sold on that. I think Warden and I'd put this in D personally.
Yeah, I can. Almost 3 mana is so much. Yeah, I
3 mana
agree.
is so much. The other two are just efficienter and almost always do something. Mind Sensor is a 3 mana 2/1 in too many games.
Yeah. Okay. Here we have a backside. This is one of the ones that's not overstated. It just has a really good ability.
Yep.
In D&T, this is good at getting your things back. However, this card is stonewalled by big creatures because the thing it gets
Yeah.
back is also attacking and can just get blocked. So if your opponent has something like an It That Writes at 1 in play, you're just kind of this card just kind of
Yeah.
doesn't do
I
anything.
don't love Dauntless Avenger, but
Yeah,
he's like
like it's
fine.
really good when it works, but it doesn't work a kind of significant amount of the time. I probably think this card's inconsistent enough to put it in C, even though
I'd
it's
drop it even a tier below, I think, put it C
yeah,
minus.
honestly that's fair. Like it's so good when it works, it just doesn't work very often.
Yeah.
Flicker Wisp. This card
Uh,
is the creature part is nice. 3/1 flyer kills people.
it's
Um,
true.
there's no merit lace for it to bully, but
It's true. I'm trying to think what the most fucked things you can do with Flicker Wisp are.
there's a couple really good ETBs to loop, but like this card is very fair and not that abusable.
Yeah,
I think I'm comparable. I think this is comparable to Traven Inspector. Like I'm not
I agree.
unhappy to play it, but it doesn't do anything
I
broken.
like it in D plus for sure.
Yeah. Ah, yes. Okay, this card
Fair
isn't
card.
white, but like it's here because it's on technicality. This card is not
Yeah,
white.
yeah.
This card costs 2 mana. And
Do we have our first A series?
yeah, it like you're
Yeah.
picking this in any color, so you don't
Yep.
have to build around, and then it is just it's Bob with no downside.
Yeah.
And I
The
think
question is where in A
yeah,
does it go?
I think it is A minus because there's better Bobs with no downside.
That's fair. The card is fucked, but yeah, A
The card is
minus.
fucked, but so is the rest of the cube.
It's
Okay,
true.
here we have Stoneforge if it was better. It
It's
just puts
true.
the equipment in play instantly, and then you can ramp.
Uh,
Like,
I think that just gets it an extra tier up.
yeah,
Like the card
I,
is fucked, but
I agree. I think it is C plus. You still need to
yeah.
draft the equipment. If you have both, you're happy about it because then you get bang for your buck on drafting equipments.
Me and Syrian have contemplated some potential equipment buffs that would, I think, just bump both Stoneforge and this card like up a solid tier. But
Yeah,
until that happens, they
for
hang out
neither.
here.
Okay, this card is not as good as a Storm Payoff and just playing Storm Payoffs, but playing it for value, just like a normal Vintage Cube, it's a solid value card.
Yeah,
Absolutely
it
not a
kills
D&T
people.
card, but you can just play it in your like control-ish style decks and then just kind of blow people out with like
Yeah,
3/3s.
this card honestly feels like just a good all-rounder C to me.
Yeah, I agree. Like it's not it's these like I think it's similar to Kafir Commando. You can kind of jam it in a lot of things. Like it's a bit
Yep,
different. This wants to be in a more tempo-y deck. This wants to be in a more control-y deck, but
for
you're
sure.
still happy about it. Okay. Note these are different cards.
Yes, we'll talk about them in the same breath though, because
They,
they
they are
basically
very different. Um,
they they are, but they
th-
target the same creatures notably.
um, yes, but they're good with different ones. Because
It's
Recruiter of
very
the
true.
Guard, so Recruiter of the Guard is like really just gets you a bunch of cards that you like.
Yep,
There are some fuck cards it gets. I mean, it tutors Magical Senpai, it tutors Mom, it tutors a lot of
it's true.
things. Recruiter of the Guard can be fucked if you have the good cards for it because
Yep.
it puts it in play. Like, if you
Yes.
get a rules lawyer with this, you are invincible until they top deck artifact removal.
Yep. Yeah. I do think Gord is better
Yeah,
than
Gord
Guard.
is more
Guard.
of like Guard is a card I would not play outside of D&T. It's so slow. I think Guard's actually kind of very mediocre.
Yeah.
I think I'm debating if I'd put it even above. I think it's D plus honestly.
I
Like
agree.
it's so
I like it in
slow.
D plus. Yeah.
Whereas Gord, like this thing puts the thing in play. Like if you put a Talia with this in play, it's a like yeah, it's a 3 mana 1/1 Talia, but Talia doesn't die to most removal.
Yeah. The fact that it goes right in play is quite powerful.
Yeah.
It's a draft. Like you have to draft the cards to support it, but it's not
Yeah,
terribly hard to.
but you are like the card is quite good if you
Yeah.
can support
Maybe
it.
we put it with Trapped in Command. I
Yeah.
feel it feels
The
like
payoff the
very
payoff is worse, but the drafting commitment is a lot
much less
easier.
hard.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like it.
Yeah. You generally always have something in your deck it's alright with because you just need anything that has an ETB or a static that you like, which
Yep.
most cards do because that makes the cards good.
Yeah.
Like you can if you get a mom with this, you have a mom that doesn't have summoning sickness and doesn't die to removal.
It's pretty gross. Senpai is pretty gross. Like there's a lot of
Yeah.
broken cards. Yeah.
Yeah. Skyclave Apparition. So
This cube is still, despite our best efforts, at a bit of a deficit for removal, so you will take everything we can get.
you are like you're not happy playing it, but you do have to play it because once again, you need to kill the 2-mana big bigs.
Yeah. Uh, I think I think for removal being at such a premium, I'd give it like a C plus.
Uh, yeah, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I like it in C plus. Sweet.
Bad Thalia.
Bad Thalia. She's not as good as this normal
She's
Thalia.
not close to as good as. I probably think her effect is like it's not comparable to this, but I think it's comparably good. Like
Yeah,
it
I
slows your
also
opponents
was.
down a turn or more sometimes. Not being symmetrical is nice. It gives you a turn extra to smash through before they can put up blockers.
She does cost 3,
Yeah,
so
you're
be
not
honest.
unhappy playing her, but you're also not happy playing her.
It's true.
White Plume Adventurer. Okay, the initiative is an ability that exists and kills people very fast.
It's true.
Like, this card is the card that makes your opponents dead very, very fast. Like,
Yes.
it's a real magic card, but honestly, it kills people comparably fast to it that Rise as one. I think White Plume is actually B plus level broken.
Yeah,
If you can
the
speed it,
initiative is a
if you
fucked
have
mechanic.
any speed up, if you can cast this on turn 2 or God forbid turn 1, your opponent needs to deal with it, and then you still have advantage.
Yeah, card is quite good. Card is also essentially a fixing card because the first mode of the dungeon is to get a basic of any color.
Yeah.
So like 3-mana 3/3, like just immediately go get a basic of whatever type you want, and then it just continues accruing value and murdering opponent. It's the initiative is fucked.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Okay. Mediocre kill your opponent card.
Yeah, it's okay. I've never felt excited about putting Moss
Yeah.
Rider Cavalry in my deck.
I'm like, I think I actually prefer D plus to this. Like,
yeah, like all of these cards in D plus, I
they
think are
do
more
things.
excited.
This thing, like, it kills your opponent moderately fast. But
D.
yeah, D.
Now, good version of it.
Yes. Okay. So that last line is both the lines are quite relevant. They're not like super broken, but the card is very good.
Card is better than Moth Rider Cavalry, but not that much better.
The -1/-1 can really matter. Like it is close to just +2/+2. I do think it is almost twice as good of a static as Moth Disc Cavalry has.
Oh, for sure. The problem is when like the requirement is playing the fucked creatures, this thing just still doesn't matter.
Yeah, but like there's a lot of fucked value creatures that have 1 toughness.
It
and
is true.
If
Being
you're
able to like murder
like
a
this
lot
card
just,
goes
like,
up a solid 3 tiers if your opponent is playing green.
Yo, for sure. Like the fact that mana elves just can't be
mana elves get
good.
fucked. It also kills things like Mom, good card.
Yes.
Does die instantly.
Yeah.
Trapped in command phase. I think
I'm between like a C and a C plus.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not sure. I think I'd put it in C because 4 mana, and like.
And like this is a card you like super side out if your opponent's playing like a deck that doesn't have 1/1s. The 1/1 murdering utility is a big part of this card, or X1s, I guess.
Yeah, X1s.
Initiative, but fair.
Yes. Well, this is only our second Monarch card. We had one before.
That's true. But that card barely counts.
Yeah, that card doesn't do Monarchy. It just.
Yeah. It's a dictator. It says, I will be the monarch. You can just pretend to be the monarch for a turn, but I am the monarch.
This card is its removal. It kills things. It kills things kind of temporarily, which is annoying.
Yeah.
I think I'd rather have Skyclave, but I still want this card, so probably C.
Yeah, C. I'm fine with C on it.
Okay, F. This card's not good. Like
it is a 4-mana 3/4 flyer. Like,
okay,
I don't think it's as bad. The Guardian of Angel is probably. I think this gives him the dreaded E tier.
Yeah, I don't want to play this card. It like. You may think, oh, it makes them not cast their instants when they want to. Ancestral Recall's still good if you cast it a turn later because your opponent cast a random creature. Because you're gonna still be playing spells. This card is not good. Okay, initiative slightly
But one more
fairer,
mana.
but still insanely
Yeah.
fair. Like,
Super fucked. I think it drops down to B for
yeah,
costing one more mana, but
yeah.
yeah,
Giving your
still
things
fucked.
unblockable also kind of fucked.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look, this card's fucked.
Like, it could
Initiative's
target
broken.
itself, which is
Yes,
stupid.
yes. It is not an okay Magic card.
Okay, so this card is very big, and if you like attack with it, it is very hard to die if you resolve this card and attack with it. But also, you play this 5 mana card and attack with it.
Yeah, I genuinely didn't know this card was in the cube. I'm gonna level if you see it in.
I,
Never seen it played before.
yeah, like
Triple white is pretty
trip
brutal.
triple white, and it's 5 mana, and for 5 mana you can do like. I'd honestly rather play the 1/1.
Yeah, I don't know, like a D. I'm not excited
I'd D
about it, but
minus
it D
honestly.
minus, sure.
I
Better
would
than
I would
Priority
rather
Avenger,
play
but
I would rather play Moftus Cavalry because it's much
that's
more
true.
like it sometimes costs 2, which is nice, and it kills my opponent, which is
The
more
problem
important.
is the decks that would want a random chunker are gonna have a hard time playing
Yeah,
triple white.
decks that want a random chunker are playing something from green. Like
Yeah,
they just
it
have
it
better fucked expensive cards.
it was born in the wrong color.
Yeah. Karmic Guide. Uh,
I haven't
like
really seen Karmic Guide. There's not really like
yeah.
Karmic Guide combos in this
Reanimator
cube.
exists, but 5 mana is a lot, and it's like you're not gonna hate playing this if you're playing Reanimator, but if you're playing anything else,
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
I'm feeling a
D.
D. Yeah.
Yeah, big D.
Rules Lawyer. If you can do bullshit with it, it's very good, but natively it's.
Yeah, if you're just playing Rules Layer for Rules Layer, he's kind of dog shit.
Yeah,
But
but there are some combos with it that make him
like
really
Gord
fucked.
is
Like
very
if you have
good.
a moment play, he's fucked. If you have Gord in your deck, he's giga fucked.
Yeah.
Like he's kind of a combo card.
Yeah. I think yeah, it gets him like a C,
I
like a weird C, but
Yeah, I think a C minus because like you're only playing this card if you can build around it.
yeah.
Which
But
and
he is like like an uncalculably fucked card when he does his thing.
yeah, yeah. Where are we putting? Where do we put cards that are like very hard to build around, but like I
We
think it
did
is
have them
too.
in B minus, but it's a
I
lot less
yeah.
efficient than
Like
these
it's
two.
much harder to build around. Like you
Yeah,
need specific cards where both of these need a category of cards.
it's true.
I
And
think
Tyrion told me we
C
didn't
makes
need a
sense.
build around here.
I think C makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
If you make a build around tier, you act like these two cards are the same power level as Rules Lawyer, which is not
That's
close to
fair.
true.
That's true.
I think C makes sense.
This is why it's important to watch our breakdown of the cards, because if you just see rules layer and C and draft it like a C, you're gonna get fucked.
Yeah.
But
Okay, this card is excellent, excellent removal. You should pick it if you have white cards in your deck.
yeah, really good.
Yeah. I removal is
B?
so good. It's B is the lowest I'd put it.
Yeah. I don't know. The cards in B plus are super fucked, but
Yeah.
Solitude is also super fucked.
Yeah.
I don't
So
know.
would you rather have
We'll end up-
Solitude or Swords?
Swords.
Okay, then I'm putting it in B.
Yeah. I guess yeah. If yeah, setting the precedent that I would rather have swords means that swords would be an A minus if we put Solitude in B plus, which just doesn't make sense. I
Yeah.
think swords
So
is a B plus.
Swords is
Yeah.
not a builder. Do It Your Seraph is a card I have played. It sucks that it's an attack trigger. If you're playing workshops and you can play this card on turn 3-4, it's good. There's cards you
Yeah,
can get with it. It does
but
a
Shops is
wacky
Shops is
impersonation of Tinker.
Shop is famously undersupported in this cube.
It's not even undersupported. It's just that like a 2 mana positive isn't enough of a payoff to play something as
Yeah.
restricted as Shops.
It's true. Again, born in the wrong color.
Shops does kind of like white because of some cards, but
That's fair.
it's just that
I don't
Shops
know.
isn't that good of an archetype. I'd probably place. I think it's C minus because in Shops you're not even like you're not scrambling to play this in Shops. You're
I
not
think
in.
the fact that you're not scrambling to play it in shops and it's pretty dog shit everywhere else gets it like a D.
Yeah, fair. I do think it's a D plus because like it is a card you like having in
All
Shops.
right, we can put it in D plus.
Okay, here we have some expensive cards. Here's Brisella.
You're not hard casting
No,
this,
this is
but
so. In terms of reanimation targets, this is one of the best ones.
yeah.
It shuts off
Um,
most ways of dealing with it.
where do I put a fucked reanimation
I, I,
target
I
tier wise?
so Reanimator is a archetype. It's not insanely good because, well, this card beats most creatures. It doesn't beat all creatures,
Yeah.
shockingly enough.
The upcoming in blue, the fear, the
Yeah.
pain.
Um, I think like this is the best Reanimator card. If any,
It's
like you're just not picking Reanimator payoffs before you pick Reanimator cards because it's just not worth it.
yeah. It is also notably like nigh impossible to kill because almost all of the removal doesn't get around
Yeah,
its
Solitude
passive.
is one of the only pieces of
Yeah.
removal that kills it.
Solitude and good old jailer. But yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. B? B?
I,
B
I
doesn't
think
feel bad.
I think it's B minus. I think like Reanimator is
A
actually
fuck build around.
comparably hard to build as trapped in command.
And it's equally fucked. Yeah,
Yeah,
alright, I like it. B minus.
yeah. Iona is a quite a bit worse version of Priscilla, but it is still very good. Like,
Yep. Did I lose a tier for that? C plus?
yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Um,
God, I very recently had a bad time against Gideon. I was playing a really sweet deck that had not great interaction as this cube does. And Gideon being a 1 mana 4/4 was really problematic because he kills you in 5 turns.
yes. One mana
Um,
4/4 is 1 mana 4/4 that you do not kill in combat ever.
yeah. Like, also, like, sometimes you can just sit around plus oneing to, like, stall out the game. He's very good.
I is
I think
Gideon.
he's
I think Gideon is honestly good enough. You want to go in,
his
like you're splashing white to play this card. I do think
his
it's that good.
biggest downside, right,
Mhm.
is that he does die to creatures.
Yeah,
You have to put a
yeah,
fair amount of pressure on him. I think he gets a B plus. He's
yeah.
very
I
good,
agree. I think he's pretty
but I
comparable
don't
to
think
it that
he's
writes
in
as
the
well.
upper echelon of the A's. But he is
Yeah,
very good. Card is fun.
yeah. Okay, Enlightened Tutor.
I mean,
Tutors are
base.
good because you have fucked cards in your deck, but this is the
Yes.
worst one.
Yeah, power discrepancy makes every tutor good, but it's not us. It's not one of the fucked tutors.
Yeah,
Still gets it like a B,
yeah.
right?
Out of the tutor cycle, it's the worst because artifact and enchantments are a less common thing to show up.
Yeah.
But if you
Put
have a
tutors
fucked
up
if you have a
for
fucked
like
one, you love this
soaring and
card,
like
you
yeah,
gladly give up a draw to draw your fucked card.
it's true.
So
Yeah, throw it in like B.
yeah, it's significantly easier to build around than these cards because you just need a fucked artifact or enchantment.
Yeah, I like it.
March. Um,
Um,
there's a lot of things that have dramatic discrepancy between their mana cost and their goodness.
something blue card upcoming.
Something 1 mana for Gideon.
It's true.
And costing
March
it's
isn't my
weak
favorite.
removal, but I think it's better removal than Palace Jailer.
Yeah, C plus, C plus.
Yeah, C plus.
Yeah, put it with Skyclave. It feels right with
Yeah.
Skyclave. They're very
Okay.
similar cards, honestly.
Path, it feels bad ramping your opponent because you can do fuck things with that mana, but
But they
it's
already
one
probably
mana.
had
It's
fuck
one
mana.
mana removal. I think 1 mana removal is just kind of B plus at worst.
I think it's B just
Yeah,
on the back
I
of
guess
the
I'd
land is real downside.
yeah,
and
I
then
get
swords goes
Solitudes
into
and
B+.
Solitude and Path probably have comparable downsides, and then
Yeah,
Swords is easy B plus.
yeah.
You love
Love
this card.
swords. What a good magic card. Thanks,
Yeah.
Richard Garfield.
Yeah. Okay. Notably, this
Pretty
second
stupid.
ability doesn't make you pick the cards, which is
Yeah,
not obvious reading it.
yeah. I did think this was Thoughtseize on initial read, which would
No.
make this card a lot better. It
Yeah,
is just
no.
you look at their hand and see
It's
what they discard.
it's nice. Like the first and third ability are generally the ones that you pick. They're both nice, but not actually overpowered at all. It's
Yeah,
just
the card
two
is like
on the
super
ra-
flexible and
yeah.
fair.
It's two on rate and one. Yeah, maybe you pick it if they have one card in hand.
I like it still as like a C plus B minus.
I don't think it's above C plus. I think it. I like. I think it doesn't affect. I think C plus is good. It's a very flexible card, but it doesn't
Yeah.
like break anything.
Yeah, I like it. C plus. Yeah. Also, tell Karif that patch up is the best card ever printed.
True. Okay, Once Upon a Time. So, Once Upon a Time is a good Magic card. This card is better.
Yep. Though notably, you do want to play white for the times that you don't have it in your opening hand
Yes,
and
you're
actually have
not.
to cast mana for it.
There are very, very few decks that aren't white and would play this, and they are, and then it's a sideboard card between a mirror between two
Er,
extremely fucked combo decks.
For context, though, if this card always started in my opening hand, it would be like an A plus.
Uh, A plus, yeah. If this card starts in your
Yeah,
opening hand, you're like just countering the first spell your opponent plays without them knowing is
yes.
like,
So horrifying.
yeah,
So I think the fact that it like when you draw an opener, the fact it is basically an A tier card, I think gets it like a B.
yeah, I agree. It's notably a lot better after we added the unnerfed version because we used to have a version that costed 3, which is a lot worse.
It's true. Ending just goes with all the other B removal. I think it's
Yeah, it's
not that much
better.
different.
I think it is B minus because it generally costs 2 to 3 mana to actually kill something.
Where did we put? Oh, I guess we put March in C plus. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like it.
I think it's 1 tier above March. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Balance.
This card is so fucked. I love
Yeah.
balance. Balance is such a good card. Criminally underdrafted in normal vintage cube as well. I'm a
If
big
you're
balance
playing a
enjoyer.
controlled, if you're not playing creatures, this is how you win your creature matchups. Like
Yeah.
you get so much advantage against creature matchup. I think like
E
just for the
plus. I
fact
love
if
balance.
you're playing control, this is an A tier card.
Yeah.
It's
The
just
fact you have to put some effort into it, but not that much effort
yeah.
into it. B
I
plus.
B
I
plus.
love I
Balance
love
is very
balance.
good.
Yeah.
Okay, here is
Ugh.
really fucked ramp. This
This card is really
genuinely
fucked.
really often ramps for 3, like without that much effort. If one trade happens in combat, this ramps for 3.
This card in A, it is really fucked.
I think it's so you were playing like I do think it's A. I would try to get if I have any amount of I think it's A minus because I need something to do with the mana. But if I have
Yes.
any amount of expensive cards, this card is I'm
It is a
like
fucked fast mana
really
card.
focusing this card.
Yeah.
I think it's A
A
minus.
minus. Yeah.
Yeah, for different reasons. Senpai is A minus because it's not that busted. Clash is A minus because it requires some amount of build around.
Yeah.
This is extremely good removal. Color
Yeah.
permanent is a restriction. It's not that big of a restriction.
B plus. B plus.
Well, B plus. Yeah,
Chill with
it.
swords.
Yeah, like it kills permanents, which is really
Yeah.
fucked.
When your opponent plays a colored land, they get
Okay,
fucked.
this is 3 mana kill. Fuck whatever.
This
Which
is just 1 mana on Spaghetti Kate, which I think it gets to be.
yeah, I do think it is like dramatically better than Skyclave for having
And
literally
if
zero
your opponent
restriction.
is feeling really generous, they can kill an extra one of
Yeah,
their
so
permanents.
one of
Yeah.
Spaghetti Cat, so B. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it fits in the path and Solitude here. Like
Yeah.
it's so generic. Okay, so I don't think you get to play. I I want to see. I haven't seen these cards in action yet, but I've seen them pass around the draft and not be played in D&T. And like white aggro decks is where you'd play them. I think these cards are honestly not worth playing because at 4 mana, there's so much artifact mana that you're not putting your opponents to 0,
Yep.
and you
What it comes down to
could
in
be
the end
playing fucked cards instead of this.
is there's too much artifact mana.
There's too
Again,
much artifact mana, and there's too many ways to get back with low mana counts.
yeah.
'Cause
They're an F.
yeah, I would honestly never play them. They are an F. Oh,
Yeah.
forgot to mention this in the equipment package.
Oh yeah,
Sideboard
it
tech
is
like
good to
hell.
have
If your
around.
opponent's playing if your opponent is playing cards that affect their graveyard, it's fine. If they're not,
There are a lot of cards that affect the graveyard in my Lion Sash is incredibly obnoxious to be facing.
yeah,
And
that
it kills
is
you pretty
fair.
quick.
Yeah, okay,
Um,
fair. I guess you would main deck this if you're playing the colors.
I want to give it like a C plus. I think
Yeah, there's enough things that
Syrian
It's
doesn't
fine.
like it, but you know.
I like the card. I just probably undervaluing it.
Yeah, it's been really good for me, and I've also been fucked by it too. It's so much potent disruption on a really good package.
So
I haven't seen someone
I
cast Mo in this cube
I
yet.
I haven't seen it in a draft yet. So take our
When did it
opinions
get added?
a while ago.
Huh.
I just haven't seen it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm the guy who would love to play a moat.
Yeah, like if your opponent, I think it's kind of a sideboard card. Like honestly,
Yeah,
a lot of like it may be a card you put in your main deck and side out against bad matchup because it's stone dead against most combo decks, and it is really good if you're playing control against or even combo against a
yeah.
tempo deck. I
So
think
we're
it's a
putting
side.
it in sideboard, but
Like
understand that we just actually have no fucking clue.
yeah, this card might be bad. It might not be good enough because there's enough flyers. It might not be good enough because the deck's playing enchantment
We
removal.
just
It might
haven't seen
also be
it.
super fucked, and you just kind of get to set up whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um.
Binding, good removal.
I,
Uh,
yeah. The I
I
think the
think you actually
restriction.
have to build around it so it goes to B minus.
I actually think it's comparable to light. I think it
Okay,
generally costs a significant amount. Significant amount of mana, and you have to have some amount of like things like triumphs, which cost some draft
that's fair.
slots you're
C plus,
unhappy
C
about.
plus.
Yeah.
There are decks that'll be one mana
This
murder
card
thing.
is. What is this card? I've seen it. I have never seen anybody die to it.
Yeah, it's like in theory, right? You cast it off like fast mana on turn one, and it probably gets there. But if it's not coming down on turn one or two, we're playing like Yu-Gi-Oh here. There's no fucking 3 turns happening, you know?
Like the thing is, it's 3 turns where they also just get to find interaction and keep playing.
Yeah.
Like they
They
don't have
also
to
can just
win.
like if you're banking on winning off of this and then they just like play a Cathar commando and it dies, you're like, well fuck.
Yeah. I think this card
Can
is.
we put Sinner's Judgment in the dreaded E tier theory?
Yeah, it's a card I love. It emblematic of the cube, but it
Yeah.
also is.
I did try to cut it recently in Syria and it's like, no, it's too emblematic.
Okay, so
Alright.
white,
Quick glance
no,
at white.
sad.
Yeah,
White is sad.
I mean, yes. I don't think many like
Yeah,
colors are going to have cards that are like chilling in A. Like
yeah,
the A, there are so many cards that are just so horrifyingly fucked outside of colored magic cards that
yeah.
it's like, yeah.
And
But yeah,
also, white kind of thrives on playing a bunch of cards that make the A card worse.
yeah,
Like Talia is not a card that is extremely fucked, but if you have a deck with like 7 Talia effects in it, your opponent just doesn't get to do their broken stuff.
white is very good at removing like crazy stuff.
Yeah,
So
it
yeah,
also has a lot of removal, which you're very happy with. White's a very good support color, and D&T is a very good archetype, but
yeah.
you have to try and draft something like a cohesive deck because you can't rely on just getting busted cards.
But if white
That's
is
why.
wildly open and you get all of the like fucked B cards, like your deck will be gross.
Yeah, exactly. And your deck will work together very well, which
Yeah.
some decks don't because they just have a bunch of fucked cards that don't synergize.
On to blue, the color that is famously worst at making creatures in Magic. So I bet there will be no hyper efficient,
Yes.
super scary
No,
threats
no,
in
no.
blue. That would
Delver
be
Secrets.
ridiculous.
Delver Secrets. Okay,
That's
anyway,
true.
this card is a really, really good anti-aggro card.
Aggro does cry when the crabs show up. If there
Yeah.
was ever like an aristocrats deck in this format, Crabless Bundler would also be fucked
I,
in
I
it.
think it's already fucked. Like, you
It
just
is.
never die to things if this card lives.
Also,
It
shout out to the subtype Crabless.
True. True. Name it with your Cavern of Souls, which isn't in the cube yet.
It's true. Is it not? God damn
It's
it,
in the
Ethan.
it's in the ad with next update file.
It's okay. We'll cut Armageddon and Ravage
True.
and put in
Make white
Cavern of
work.
Souls
Cut
and
the white cards.
Pongify IDK.
Lamau. Okay, I think Crabless Plunderer is at worst a B. It is like so good at
Yeah.
stopping like everything in combat.
Yeah, I like it as a B.
Yeah. The tier list is starting to get long.
It's true. We're making Tyrion get good work out of her scroll wheel.
Yeah, well, I'm just holding it up as anyway, hey, speaking of fucked blue creatures, here's
This is just
pre-flipped
what
Delver.
you didn't change Delver, Tyrion. This is just how Delver always is.
Well, it immediately blocks flyers the turn you play it.
I guess I hadn't thought about it that way. You're right.
Anyway, this card
Um,
is like, if you're playing blue tempo, this card is great, and blue red tempo, blue white tempo, you can do fuck things with blue tempo.
It's gross on one.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think it is
E
worse.
plus.
It doesn't. I think it's not B plus because it doesn't lock combat as hard as things that That Riser one do. I guess it
Okay,
does
so B.
flying clock. The flying clock's
Flying
really
clock
annoying.
is gross.
Yeah, you're
It's between B and B plus. It's probably a B plus. Like God,
yeah,
it's so gross.
yeah. I agree. Okay, here we have one of the reanimator cards, Phyrexian and off.
Uh,
So
yeah.
the downside is that it takes time. Like for the same reason, Academy Rector in like most formats has some downside that it has to die. When ones are easier to kill though. Like if it dies, you're like it's so efficient you can play it in decks that aren't Reanimator as just like
Yep.
a thing that locks down combat and gets you massive advantage when it dies. But for Reanimator, you're kind of unhappy that it's just slow.
Yeah.
I'd probably go B minus. You're happy to have it in your deck, but
Yeah. I feel
it's
like
not
it
a
feels good
card
in
I
B
would
minus.
like play Reanimator because I found it.
Yep. Speaking of cards that are good reanimator support.
Ledger Shredder, yeah, pretty good regular Magic card. Um, Honestly, this is also a B minus. Is it
I
C
don't like
plus?
it as a B minus. C plus actually.
Yeah,
It's a great
it's
card,
a
but
great
like
card. The ability triggers a lot, but it does cost 2, which sounds like it isn't that much. But like you can have,
yeah.
you know, ah,
Speaking of cards that cost two.
cards that cost 2. Okay, so this is obviously at least an A. Like if you see
Yeah.
this card, you want to play blue. It is insanely fucked.
This is like whenever me and Syrian are discussing balance for the cube, I will contemplate whether the card beats Ludovic's Abomination in a race,
Yeah,
and if it doesn't, I'll joke it's a
this
bad
card
card.
is also part of the reason that removal is rated so highly because your
Yes,
opponent can just have things like this. Like,
yes,
yes, Ludovic's Abomination is the most extreme one, but if they go Insectile Apparition into It That Rises one, you're also just gonna die in 2 turns.
yeah. I like it as an A. It is just
Yeah.
really the thing is there is no creatures other than like a Death Touch creature. A Death Touch creature blocks
And
it,
and
and you
and
take
then
like
you
11.
still you still take a fucked amount of damage because it
Yeah.
also has trample.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
like
card is, and if you're doing anything other than killing it the first time it swings, you are just so fucked.
you need to kill it or combo off the turn it lands.
Yeah. It is,
Like
it
you
is,
cannot beat this card in fair creature combat.
yeah, I hate Ludovic's Abomination. I hate Ludovic's Abomination.
Okay, back to like value cards. Hey, we have another better bulb.
Yep. A little worse than Senpai, I think.
Yes, it costs colored mana.
Yeah, but B plus still.
Yeah, for sure.
Unlike Senpai, it also is a clock.
Yes, but it costs colored mana.
Yeah, cost colored mana, but yeah, pretty fucked.
Yep, very happy to see it.
And blue is looking pretty fair right now. Hey,
Yeah.
this card is actually pretty bad, honestly. Well, that's
The-
not true.
yeah.
Snappy is good, so.
Snappy
but-
is good because some of the spells are really fucked. Like
I
it's
think he gets a C for all his efforts.
yeah, it depends. Like this card can be between B plus and D depending on the cards in your
I
deck.
think actually, seeing Ledger Shredder in C plus makes me feel generous to the old Snap man. I think
Yeah.
we should put him in.
I
Plus.
think they are
Yeah.
comparably like very good 2 mana normal ass blue cards.
Yeah.
Torkoal sucks. Torkoal's unplayable. This card is gone next iteration. I've seen every single piece of Torkoal support in one draft, and nobody played it.
I put it in E.
No, you're not playing this card. It's not worth it. You can find better.
2 mana 1/3. It's better than Armageddon Ravages.
No, it's not. Fuck you, 2 mana 1/3.
2 mana
Guys, the
1/3,
Ludovic's
and you get to
Abomination.
stack your draw. It's an E.
F tier. You're not playing Armageddon. Theoretically, like it's not as good as these cards. These cards have text.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. All right.
Okay, this card is slightly errata. Basically,
Yeah,
just like the card is good.
It's 2 mana instead of 3 mana. Card
Yeah.
is great.
Yeah, Steel's Moxen. Your opponent probably has one of those. There's a lot of them. Steel
B,
Soren.
B.
B. Yeah. You're happy.
B.
You're happy with this. If you're playing blue, you're picking it.
Yeah.
3/3. Your creatures have flying.
That's pretty. Is it
it's-
a 2 mana 3/3? This card is so fucked.
Yes, this is a really good tempo card. This card is so like looking at this list. This card is better than Delver, but I'm not sure. Would I go into blue to be able to play this card?
Pretty gross.
Probably. Like if you're
Yeah,
playing anything
A-.
near fair, this card kills your opponent. It just kills
Outside
them.
of Thoracle, currently blue has just thoroughly clowned over white, but we are gonna get to some bad cards eventually. They exist.
Here,
There's so many fucked flip cards in blue.
there's fucked flip cards in most col. There's just not that many fucked flip cards in white specifically.
Yeah, that's fair.
Also,
Yeah.
Gideon. Gideon is a fucked flip card.
I mean, that's fair. Gideon exists.
Yeah.
This card I don't think is as good as Werewolf.
No, it's a different type. Like you're playing this in more of a storm. Like in Storm, it's very nice because it just like even if you fail, you hit your opponent for a lot of
Yeah.
damage, and
It's like,
it makes you
what
not
if
die
your
to
Brawl
aggro.
was fucking colossal?
Yeah. What if your brawl blocked 3/3s?
Yeah. B.
Yeah. Yeah, B. I'd rather have these cards.
Yeah.
This card in Tempo is better than this card in Storm.
Yep. Borrower is still a really nice card. Disruption is so valuable in this cube.
Yeah, I think it's just like Snap and Ledger Shredder, a very good but still are fundamentally a normal Magic card, power level card.
Yeah, C plus. I like a good borrower.
Yeah, the problem is creatures are kind of undercosted, so they can just replay them.
Yep.
Emery.
I
haven't seen Emery much.
I haven't seen Emery much either.
Yeah, she's good. There are bubbles in this cube.
I think I've seen Optic play Emery.
Yeah.
And it looked pretty reasonable.
It's
the card's probably
it's a good
like
card if you're playing artifacts, but that's like yeah.
It's like probably as good fair value as all our C pluses,
yeah.
but you actually have to put some effort into it.
I think it's comparable to
comparable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Hull Breacher. Okay. We put Spirit. Where do we put Spirit? We put Spirit in C. I think it's at least one tier higher, if not two. I think it's either C plus or B minus. I think I agree. Like
you have
treasures
to draft
are
around it. I think this is a trapped of command level of like build around where when you do the thing, it's so fucked.
It does. If you have a wheel, this card wins. If you play Wheel Hull Breacher, you win.
In a Wheel of Fortune, this card is horrifying.
Yeah, but like fairly, it's not bad. Your opponent will cast cards that draw cards, and treasures are.
If your opponent tries to Ancestral and you flash this and get 3 treasures,
and notably, you're playing blue, so you holding open 3 mana doesn't help fucking anything.
Now, the dream is when your opponent tries to cast 5 Ancestral Recalls painted green on themselves, and you flash an Breacher.
True. Okay, Spellseeker.
This card is
comparable
probably a little better than Guard.
I think it's not a tier better than Guard, TBH.
I don't know.
Okay, yeah, no, yeah, that's fair. C minus
C
makes sense. Yeah. Gets Ancestral Recall. True name.
Her name kills people.
It kills people and it blocks things that don't have trample.
Yeah. It gets itself like a C plus for that.
Yeah, another normal Magic card that is very good, but a normal Magic card. Okay, so we have Urza and Femme Urza. Trans Urza. This card has Eminence. It does not say it's a legal commander, so it's not a legal commander.
Yeah.
So
whenever you cast an artifact, make a 4/4 with blue. This artifact. Okay, so they're not real boys.
Yeah, but they do instantly tap for mana. So every time you get an artifact, you add blue.
Yeah.
Which is already good.
I do think normal Urza is a little better.
So the normal Urza has the upside of making if you make infinite mana, which is quite doable.
Yes.
You win the game instantly.
Also find that a thing that can happen in this cube is that you can stall out with a fuck ton of mana and nothing to do with it.
Yeah. I think Urza's better, but they're both really good if you can get them to resolve. Like.
So I think the question is whether they're a B and a B minus or a B minus and a C plus.
I
don't think Urza's probably. I don't know if Urza's as good as the Bs.
I think Sildana is worse, but I do think they're both B minus still. Like decks that want Urza still want Sildana.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, both.
You're more happy with Urza, but you're happy with both. They both just give you a good. Oh, I put Urza here.
Love it. See, this is the premium commentary you wouldn't know about if you didn't watch the entire review. You would just think Urza and Sardana were the same power level, when in fact you should pick Urza over Saldana generally.
Okay.
My boy.
I think this card is bad. I don't think there's enough cards that are good with it. Like, there's no Expropriate.
Is there Expropriate is the fucked thing to do
with
this guy. I mean, it's also
interaction.
harder to like flicker him infinitely.
Yeah, like your
He
Mind's
is still
Desire is very good.
really
Time Spiral's
gross.
good.
And like he can also get some fuck shit in other like peer into the abyss.
Yeah, like he basically he's a 5 mana card that costs a 5 mana spell that's outside of your colors usually.
And also like putting a time or like a time walk on him is fairly powerful still because like if you can like blink him, like we don't have a ton of blink support in this
Yeah,
queue, but
if you have Blink, then you can consider putting a Time Walk in the room, although playing Time Walk is also really strong.
I mean it's true. But like maybe you got an off-color starburst that you're having a hard time
Yeah,
casting. Like
yeah.
yeah.
I don't think
Um
he's like EF D minus. I do think he's not great. Like he's such
I
a build around
think
that doesn't. I don't think his reward for build around is good enough to put him in C.
I can see him as a C minus.
I I
Yeah.
I'd actually think more D plus. Like
E
you have
plus.
to put so much effort into getting him to work, and then his payoff is fine.
There are times you're going to get one of those big 8-9 mana spells and he's gonna be pretty fucked, but
Yeah, but it's like I
yeah.
guess those cards do wheel often enough that I can
Yeah,
see.
because the big fuck cards are really hard to cheat out, and Savant's one of the best ways to do it.
Yeah, like you can definitely get a last
Ivarg.
couple picks pure,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then you're pretty happy with playing the
Or like a
Savant.
5 Arg, yeah.
Okay, fucked value creature. Holy shit, this card. If you're playing
Yeah.
anywhere near a like mid-range control mirror, this card like stalls combat forever. It's indestructible. It's a 4 power flyer. Kills your opponent. Does not die to shit. ETB draw 4.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. Does cost 6 mana, you have to cast it.
Yeah. This
Um,
card, I've resolved this card a lot, and I am super happy with it every time. And if you have any other scry, it's fucked.
yeah, it is pretty horrifying.
Like 6 mana is bad, but I think it's better than
B
these fuckers.
minus?
Yeah.
Yeah, B minus, sure. I
Uh.
like it. It is what if your Mole Drifter was on crack?
Yeah. The
Kappa
turtle.
Kappa.
I don't think this card is that good in shops.
I don't love it.
I think it is better than Do It Your Seraph, but not by all
Do it
that
your
much.
Seraph.
So I think
Yeah.
it's in a better shops color.
I
I'd go
I'm
C
I don't
minus.
know. Spellseeker and I would much rather play Savant and Spellseeker than Kappa Kappa.
Yeah, that's fair.
D plus. I think it's like the Urza and Femurza,
Yeah, that's fair.
situation. Do it
Funny.
yourself Seraph is the Femurza to Kappa Cannoneer's Urza.
Okay, so sorcery speed snappy with upside.
It's real upside as well.
Yeah, it's definitely real upside, but like,
But I don't know if it puts it above Snappy.
I think being sorcery speed is a real chokehold
Yeah, I
point,
think
so I think
it
it's
is
comparable to snappy.
Snappy at home.
Yeah, snappy at sorcery speed. Narset.
Home Breacher, but a bit worse, I think.
It's worse for comboing. It's better for being fair. I think being comboing is better. So C plus.
C plus, yeah.
Narset's a good card if you can play
Good
it.
card, yeah.
Joins
C
the
plus is the
jo-
fair
jo-
magic card
yeah,
tier.
a really good
Also,
normal blue card, but normal blue card.
also Baby Jace, but he evolved already.
Yeah, true. Jace, the Mind Sculptor. This card
C
is
plus.
good. The
This card
minus
is
one's
good,
very important.
Yes, the -1 is really nice in this.
C.
Brainstorm repeatably is still really good.
Is this another C plus?
I mean, I don't know where else would put him.
Yeah.
He feels
Don't
like
think
he
he's as
belongs.
good as these cards, and I think he's better than Emery.
Yeah, good old JTMS.
Okay. Yep. There you go. Worst
Alright, hear
Oracle.
me out.
Okay.
Is it worth Oracle?
Yes, it costs 4 and it draws a card every turn. That's not worth 4.
Fair.
You're not playing
Poor Jace.
Archivist.
I mean, it's
Tezzeret.
true.
5 mana Tezzeret. Card good, but 5 mana. Probably D minus ish. I'm not happy playing Tezzeret.
Tetheret's been hard to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not happy
D
with
minus.
him, but if you have some of the really
Also-
fucked combo artifacts, yeah, you're reluctant.
Important note to everyone here: this is the incorrect art for Tezzeret the
Oh, yeah.
Seeker that is being displayed here.
True.
The one true art for Tezzeret the Seeker is his Mythic Edition art, where he fondles balls in his art. His name
Yes.
is Balls Tezzeret, and he is the one true Tezzeret.
True. The version in the cube is also that the way this website works just didn't actually
Yeah, yeah.
account. Okay. Uh, A plus. You fucking love playing this card. If you're, is this S? This card is so fucking good. Like,
Don't know what I would pass it over.
yeah, like the only like there are cards that I think are obviously S that I'd pick over this, but I can't think of anything I wouldn't call S that I'd pick
Outside
over
of
this.
like a couple of the conspiracies, I
Yeah,
think
which
this
are all
card.
S anyway. I think this is an S tier
Yeah,
card. It's not
yeah,
blue. Just like for white, the best card isn't white. This card isn't blue.
yeah. Syrian can testify. I've been bothering her to put this in the queue for so long. I'm
Okay,
so
where
glad
does
it's
where does
here.
funny recall go? What
I
tier
mean,
is?
Recall is still a
Yeah,
not okay card. It
yeah.
goes in the A's.
Is it A or A plus?
Um,
How hard are you
I
pivoting blue to
think
play recall?
I think it is on equal power level with Ludwig's
Yeah, I
elimination.
agree. I think A is good for recall.
Yeah,
You do still need to be a caller.
A for ancestral recall. Don't forget the two digits,
Brainstorm.
the alphabet.
Um,
What is
bad
recall?
recall,
What's
but
bad
it is
wall?
good. I think B
Uh,
plus. I think it's the best card I wouldn't build around. Like I love
I
brainstorm.
I don't think it's as good as like werewolf and insectile. I think it's
Really, it's so good if you like. It's not. These are fair cards. Brainstorm is
yeah,
not.
but look at what's in B. It's not like that much better than the things in B. Like
It's a
these cards
very
are all
different card. Like brainstorm one helps you find your broken shit, which is
yeah.
important. And in a
I think it's
combo
a
deck,
B.
you love seeing three more cards.
I think Seafaring Werewolf is just clowning on Brainstorm every day of the week, and so
I
is
think that's only
Insectile.
true. The thing is, Seafaring Werewolf, if you're playing a combo deck, doesn't continue your combo, and Brainstorm does. Like Brainstorm, I'm
True, but
evaluating it
I
for
would
more.
still play Seafaring Werewolf in my combo
Yeah,
deck just
I
to be
guess
on
I guess
2%
I
of my
would
combo.
comparably like seeing this and Brainstorm in my Storm deck, so B.
I think it's a B. Yeah, Brainstorm, great Magic card,
Yeah,
makes Legacy what it is, but
yeah.
yeah.
But I guess
There are
this is
fetchies in
also
this.
fucked
But
magic card.
notably, you still need to find your like shuffles and your fetchies.
Yeah,
Like
they are here. There are
it is
fetches.
a Brainstorm is a build around card in the
Yeah.
weirdest sense of the word.
Or yeah, if you're playing combo, like if it's the last card you play for before winning, you're also happy with it.
I mean, it's very true.
Um, this
This card
card,
is
it's like
one time port. I don't
one time
know.
port
It's
replace itself. It's like a card. I'm not unhappy to play, but I'm also not happy to
like a
play it.
C.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a C. I'd put it in my deck if I'm blue, and probably not any time. Like if I consistently have blue mana, yeah, sure, might play
Yep.
my opponent.
Yep.
Okay,
I
so
usually run Flusterstorm.
yeah, it's a
I
card
think
you
it's just
side
main
out
deckable.
sometimes, but in your main, you're putting it in your main deck if you can, because there's some spells you just don't want to resolve.
Yep.
And if
I
your opponent's playing
think
Storm, you're
that
happy with it.
gets it like
I
I
think
think it's
it's
better than C plus. Is it better?
it
I
it
think it might bump to a B
I
minus.
I think they're so I think it is probably counter spells are so important. Yeah, B
Yeah.
minus, sure.
Disruption. You just need to not have
Okay,
the bad
global
shit
trip
happen to
is
you.
busted as fuck.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
this is it's not like it just like Magical Senpai. It's not a build round because it doesn't cost mana. It's
Yeah.
either A minus or A for me.
I think it's
This like
probably.
almost always hits something is the thing.
I think it goes in A. It is
Yeah,
really fucked.
yeah,
This is like basically the Once Upon a Ties, except it never stops being Once Upon a Ties.
yeah, exactly.
What the fuck is Tobias again? Why did he end up in A minus?
Your creatures have
Oh,
fly.
it's this guy, right? Fuck yeah, sure, yeah, yeah. I keep forgetting what the fuck that card is. It's not
Mental
okay.
misstep. It's a lot worse than global trip. It's still really, really, really good.
Yeah. I feel like it goes in with Brainstorm at B.
I think it's B plus. By not being colored, I think it goes up a tier.
Okay. All right. I respect that. B
Like
plus. All right.
if you don't have a card that actively fucks makes your archetype giga fucked, like I'm very happy picking mental misstep in
Absolutely. All right.
any
Yeah.
deck.
It's time. It's misstep. Yeah.
Okay, how about the other one?
Yeah.
Mental step.
Mental
Uh,
step is a build around card.
well, I mean, so like, I think it is worse than misstep, but not by that insanely much. Like,
Yeah. Drop it a tier to B.
yeah. So like, if your opponent's cast actually ancestral recall is a bad example because it doesn't allow you to retarget, but
Yeah. Yeah. But when you cast Ancestral Recall, you can just do it twice.
yeah. Like, it's really fucked, but
It
it
also
requires
can
more
like
effort than step.
counter back. Like if someone passive negations you, you can mental
This
step
passive
back.
negation does not cost one.
Oh right, Lamau.
If somebody missteps you, you can
Well,
misstep them.
see, you use the more or less that we're about to review next to make their
Ah,
passive
of
negation
course.
cost one, and
It
then you
has
get them.
combos. Outside of those combos, you're not happy playing this card. Um,
Yeah.
I think
Uh,
it is probably D.
it's kind of hard to get the combos. Yeah, D.
There's better cards that do the combo. Like
Better than
Urza
ball.
tends to do the
Right.
combo better.
Yeah, yeah.
They're
Uh,
like yes, if you have there's cards that make it fucked, but there's not that many cards that make it fucked.
yeah.
Okay, Mystical Tutor is a very good vanilla tutor. It is better than Enlightened Tutor, I think, 'cause there's better spells.
We put Enlightened in B.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's that much
yeah,
better than Enlightened
I
that
do
I
think it's
wouldn't bump it
B
a tier.
because I think it's probably still B because like
Yeah,
instant searches are very good, but they're not like win the game fucked. They're generally just cards you always love seeing.
it's true.
But like Pact of Negation doesn't win you the game, and like
Yeah, it just.
Worldly Tutoring from Abomination can fucking own. Like you just if you
Oh
have
yeah,
Worldly
yeah,
Tutor on one, you just get Abomination on two twice as often.
yeah. It's
So
pretty good.
I think it matches. It's a bit better than Enlightened, but not by that much. They're kind of different. Spell Pierce.
I think this card is pretty much the same as Flusterstorm in my mind.
I think no. I think countering artifacts is really important. I think it is
But I also think
better.
it doesn't like. I think Flusterstorm hits some shit that it does. Like Flusterstorm like owns Storm, obviously. Like
I yeah. That's fair.
I think they both hit things that the other one doesn't, but they're both just great
Yeah.
disruption.
Brain freeze. Okay,
Or do we
so
just put Storm payoffs?
yeah. So this notably, I think it is the best storm payoff
I'd agree.
because I don't think the downside of like the one actual factual Eldrazi that's here, uh, like outweighs the fact that there is a card named Underworld Breach that exists.
I do like
Also, the storm
Underworld
count is
Breach.
you tend to need a lower storm count than for something like 10 rolls, and it costs 2, and it's blue, so it pitches to force it well.
It does.
I
It's
think it
pretty
is
good.
the best storm payoff. I think storm is very, very good, so I'd go a B plus.
Uh, uh,
Like it's not the cards that make storm fucked, but you do need it to play. You need a storm payoff to play storm, and I
I
think it is
think
the
I'd
best
put
one.
it. That is fair. I think I'd put it in B. The fucking B plus cards are so gross.
Yeah, but like these are generally good cards, and I think like I guess if we're saying generally good cards are B plus, fucked cards that require setup are B, then it's B. But I think it is like you need it so badly for Storm. I think it's B plus.
Okay, I can respect that. It is probably the best card to have for Storm.
Yeah. Well, the best payoff. It is the best out of the Storm cards, which you need at least one of.
Yeah, yeah.
Days.
It's worse than all those other counter spells we looked at, but it's still really good.
Worse than Flister Spell Pierce? Yeah. C plus.
C plus.
C plus.
Maybe I don't know. It does have all of the surprise factor of local
Yeah.
trip. It's just bouncing an island at the real cost. I'd give it the B minus actually.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
Because
Costing
there are
nothing is
efficient threats you can just hide
yeah.
this behind as well.
Yeah. Costing nothing
Like
is
you cast
very
Humana
good.
13/13, they try to kill it, you get them, you
Yeah.
win the game.
This card is weird. So, like, definitionally it's sideboard tier, but I don't think that counts. Um, so this card is so
Card is
weird.
really
It's
stupid.
basically a companion without a companion requirement. So, like, we've discussed before that cards that are never downside should probably have a minimum of being a B minus.
This card I think is substantially better than just like
Like,
this
yeah.
card is like probably an A, honestly.
It is 2 mana count, 2 mana and pitch a card, which is a real cost, but if you
You
need
do
it,
have to pay the mana cost, it is true.
yeah.
Um
I'm I think it's B
probably like
plus.
B
Like
plus. Okay, I like it a B plus.
yeah. I would not play blue because I saw this card, but if I'm
That's
playing
true.
blue, I'm picking it.
Yeah, it is excellent, yeah. Alright, cool, cool. I like it.
Mana drain.
Mana Drain is still a gross card.
Yes.
Probably like a B.
Yeah, I agree. It is better than Flusterstorm Spell Pierce because you can do some stupid shit with the mana.
Yeah, you counter their shit and then win the game.
Yeah. Opt twice. The best 2 mana draw card, probably. Probably not,
Probably not as good as the 1 mana draw card. LMAO.
it is worse than Recall. But like the effect is not substantially worse than Recall,
It's true.
but it does cost 2. I think this card is very, very good. I think this card
Probably, like,
fights Seafaring Werewolf pretty fairly.
it costs double blue though.
Yeah, but it also doesn't take a turn to accrue value.
I'd give it a B, but I won't fight you that
I
hard. if you
I
put it
think
in
it's a B
plus.
plus. I think if
Alright.
it didn't cost double blue, I'd be arguing A minus.
I suppose that's fair.
Snapback. So 0 mana removal, quote unquote, but like it is bounce.
Yeah, it's one of the it's a necessary evil of the cube.
Yeah.
But
Where did
I'm not super excited about it.
I think it belongs again in the normal magic card that is very good.
I think it is worse than just that career. I think it's a C.
You think it? Yeah, I guess.
I don't
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
It's like it gets you out of your pinch for a turn and not super efficiently.
Yeah. Normal force of negation. Force of wills are very good as they usually are.
Yep.
I
think this card is probably like a B plus.
So I think force of will is B plus. I think force of negation is B because creatures matter.
It's true.
Lot. Like this card not hitting. Yeah, you can force of will the 2 mana 13/13. You cannot force of negation the 2 mana 13.
It's true.
I'm just gonna put force of will there now. Actually.
Sure. Yeah, we'll get force of will out of the way in the B plus tier.
Yeah, force of will is a really good card.
It's true.
Okay. Notably, there are a lot of lands that tap for more than 1 mana and or have other fucked effects. This card is usually mana positive.
Yep. A ritual that lets you look through your deck.
This card is very, very good in Storm.
B?
I think it's a tier below Brain Freeze.
Okay,
honestly, I actually no, because it's also really good in Reanimator. Yeah, I think B.
Yeah, B.
You're very happy. There's a lot of decks that are pretty happy playing this card.
Yeah, fucked lands go burr. Intuition is weird in this cube.
Yeah. Like,
there's not like a great graveyard package to grab with it.
I think there's a regrowth in the cube somewhere. I think. Okay, I guess there isn't.
Maybe. No, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not that happy playing Intuition. Like in Reanimator, it's a bad Entomb. In not Reanimator, I'm just not happy with it.
Maybe we put it in the dreaded E tier.
Honestly, yeah.
E.
Okay. This card.
It's hard to regular cast it. It's pretty good though. Like a lot of things aren't cast for there.
Yeah, a lot of things. Like, I don't think it is like Global Trip. I don't think it's A tier. Like,
no.
Too much broken shit is just cheap.
I don't think it's Force of Will good either. I think it's like a B.
Yeah. I think non-creaturing cost for, like, the fact that it doesn't pitch cost, I think makes it comparable to Force of Negation. Like, it is just free if it happens.
Give it is a
this card is like, the thing with this card is that it, like, removes the 4 best cards from your opponent's deck, which in anything fair and in combo, like, this is 4 surgical extractions, which...
Yeah, this is Jester's Cap, but you get the cards.
Yeah, you get 2 fucked magic cards, and your opponent loses 4 fucked magic cards. This card is really good. This card's much better than normal gifts.
However, it is slow.
It is slow. Like, I think this is a really, really good value control card. I've cast it, like, the problem, the reason this card is bad is because you die next turn. If you don't do that, the card's insane.
Yeah. I think that gets it, like, a C altogether.
I think it gets it a C+. I would
that with C+ crew.
I would be happy cuffed. Like, if I don't...
I guess it's JTMS, like, level.
Basically,
like,
JTMS wins because the -1 is super relevant. If I'm not using the -1, I'd rather have gifts.
Yeah, I agree.
Might Break Trap. Free counter spell if your opponent's playing a combo deck.
Yep.
Or sequences poorly.
I don't think you can main deck this card sideboard.
Uh,
I main decked it in a deck that just couldn't cast it, and it was not good.
yeah, it's you cite it in against like close to 50% of decks, but I do think I'd rather have it in the sideboard game one.
Yeah,
I am also leaning towards putting this deck in my main deck more and more the higher in the tournament bracket you are.
fair.
This card, I have not seen this card yet. It is very weird.
Yeah, I find it's like I can't really spend 5 mana greeting out.
Yeah, like theoretically it puts an arbitrarily large amount of cards in your hand, which has uses.
Yeah, and like
Um,
but you also need like the fixing, like to
well,
actually cast
you
all of the
do
bullshit you've
get you
grabbed.
do just get a bunch of basics. You can put 5 basics of every type in your hand,
That's
which
true.
like I think it's too slow. I think it goes in. I think it is like it has useful text. It's just slow, so I'm
Yeah,
putting it in
it
Sinner's
goes in the
Judgment here.
dreaded E.
The Sinner's Judgment here.
E.
Misdirection, the worst force of will.
Yeah.
I'm
Still pulls a B minus question mark.
yeah. Interaction's so good and like Ancestral
Yeah,
Recall is a magic card. It is in the cube. It's very good.
yeah.
You like being able
Misdirecting
to link
Ancestral
it.
is pretty funny.
Dig.
Dig is good.
Dig
I
is
play Dig.
very good. Yeah, I love Dig. You can definitely
Um,
get things in your graveyard, and it's top best 2 out of 7 is a lot.
a lot, yeah.
Is this brainstorm tier?
I think it's worse.
Yeah, I think B minus makes sense for this. I think it's better
Yeah,
than like the balanced cards because it gets you cards that aren't balanced.
yeah, I like it.
So it goes in B minus.
Oh,
Cup.
uh,
This is a combo card. In fair decks, this card is not great.
yeah. It's not. It's also like you can draw your opponent into free interaction, which can really blow you out
Yeah,
sometimes.
I'm feeling a
Good
C
with Hull
plus.
Breacher.
You're happy.
Uh,
If you're playing combo, you're pretty happy to see it. If you're not playing combo, you're kind of miffed. Which I
yeah.
guess is true about gifts with control too.
It's like, and yeah, it is very funny with Hull Breacher. Like Hull
It is
Breacher loves
very
this
funny
card.
with Hellbreacher and equivalents.
Yeah.
Git probe. This card is you never don't like playing Git probe. It's not
Get
busted, but
Probe is such a fucked card. I
yeah.
think it gets a B.
Oh yeah, I think I was gonna put it in B plus. Like
That's fair.
you're never
B plus.
you if you don't see a fucked card to pick, you're picking this card. It is just
Yeah.
always you're never
The
not playing
information
it.
is so nice.
Yeah, you're never not playing it.
Yeah,
There's
it's
no
true.
deck that's not playing this card.
This is just
It's
minus
just
one
that
card in deck.
like
Yeah, it's
this
good.
card costs 1 draft pick, which
Yeah.
is why it's not higher because these cards are worth the draft pick more.
Yeah.
This card is so fucked. Oh my god, this card is fucked. Like, this card is already super fucked because it's 1 mana draw 2 with upside.
Yeah.
I think this card is comparably good to Ancestral Recall.
Yeah. It's what? 1 mana draw 2, and then you draw it next turn.
Yeah, except the draw 2 isn't technically drawing, so it gets around
Because,
Hull
yeah,
Breacher.
dumb shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There,
I think it can go.
I
It can
think
kill
there
with
is a
Ancestral.
notable synergy with this card with every single hidden agenda that can choose instants.
No, yeah.
Like,
Excuse me.
if you have iterative analysis, this is Ancestral Recall every single turn.
Yeah, which is gross. The double one just makes it so you draw 4 cards every turn.
Yeah, like it's
Yeah. I think
notably
it can chill in A with Ancestral.
yeah. Like you love this card. This card is so good. I think people have underpicked it really hard because I've seen it go quite late. I think this card's insane.
Yeah.
Ponder. Ponder is so it's generically better than Brainstorm, but high end worse than Brainstorm.
I think it goes
think
in the
it's
same
the
tier
same
as
tier.
Brainstorm because you don't have to put in the legwork that
Yeah.
you need to for Brainstorm.
Yeah, I agree. It's better in less like Brainstorm gets better at the more fucked your deck gets. Ponder gets better the more like reasonable.
Yeah, yeah.
This card is giga fucked. This card's A
It's
tier.
true.
I think this. I
I
would.
think it's A minus because
Yeah.
you have to actually cast it, but
Yeah,
it is
you
so
do need
fucked.
double blue. I would rather cost the two mana 13/13, but not by that much. If this
Yeah.
was 1 in a blue, I'd put it here.
I hate illusory thoughts.
This
I hate
card
illusory
is 2
thoughts.
Thoughtseize 4/2.
Fuck Drakestone. All my homies hate Drakestone.
Yeah. Time Walk.
A.
A. Very fun with the 2 mana 13/13.
It's true, and then they die.
Then they die. Crowstorm.
Worse than Brain Freeze, not that
It's
much.
one of
Probably
the.
a
I
good
think
amount.
it's one of the weaker Storm payoffs. But
C?
yeah, I.
B
Where
for
did we put
Crow?
We put Brain Freeze in
B.
B. It's not B minus. I think I'd go C plus. Like,
Okay.
if you get like 6, you like regularly getting like 6 or 7, you win the game, but your opponent can pull some fucked shit out of nowhere, which
It's
doesn't
true.
happen with some of the other Storm win comp. Nah, C, I think C is good.
Yeah.
Because
C is for
I think I'd
Crowstorm.
put Tendrils like between B minus and C plus, and I think this card's a
Yeah.
good amount worse than Tendrils.
Yeah.
Okay, how do we feel about the cheat archetype? It's
Show
like
and Tell is a notably bad cheat archetype card.
I think this card is like if you build around it, it can be good, but I think it is C minus. Like if
Yeah, I
you
guess
put
I
a
like it more than
Bercel
Kappa
with,
Kappa.
huh?
I guess I like it more than Kappa Kappa.
Yeah, I agree. Twister is very good in combo. If you have a Hull Breacher, it's great. It's fine in fair decks.
Yeah, Hull
Think-
Breacher and Narset do both exist. So.
Yeah, I think it is better than the cards on and of itself because combo. I think it's a B
Yeah.
minus.
Yeah, B minus. I like it.
B minus.
Tinker is still a fucked card.
Yes.
B plus.
I
A-minus?
would consider. I would definitely try to build around if I saw an early Tinker.
That's fair. A minus on
Yeah.
Tinker.
Blue holds its reputation as having more fucked cards than white.
True. White
Shockingly.
face when white gets no A card, then blue gets like 5.
It has an A.
Um,
It has an A. Oh wait, yeah, A. Fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mind's Desire. This is not the Storm win con, but God, you love this card if you're playing Storm.
Yeah. I think it's B minus.
Yeah. Like it's a Storm enabler. I do think it is a like. Brain Freeze does more because it kills them, but
The fact that it
you're
costs
so
6
happy.
mana is not as much of a like crime as it would be in like other formats because
Yeah.
the
If you're playing
fucking-
Storm,
yeah.
you can make this up, and the card itself makes the mana back usually.
Yeah, for sure. My Desire pretty epic.
Time Spiral.
Worse than Time Twister,
Yeah, definitely.
but not that much because it's positive on mana like all the free cards are.
Yeah. I think it is probably C plus.
Yeah, I like it.
That's not.
Ah,
C+.
my hero next. Was the best card in
Upheaval.
the cube.
F.
Best card in the cube. No.
I-
Fuck you.
I think
Cool.
Upheaval is probably so. Bidding aside, I think Upheaval's maybe D minus. Like, there's
Yeah,
the
it's-
artifact mana is generally like the thing is this card's great if you float a bunch of mana and then play your artifact mana. The thing is artifact mana is generally free, so your opponent
It's
can just
got a
also
lot
do
of
that.
the issues of Armageddon Ravages, but I think the upside on this card is way higher.
The
Like,
thing is, Armageddon requires you to have a good board state and your opponent to not be able to come back, like not be able
Yeah.
to stabilize off a low amount of mana. Upheaval hits them harder, like it resets the board state and you get the fuck off first.
yeah.
I do think it is
Well-
definitely better. I don't think the card is good.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Treasure Cruise. I think it is worse than Dig, not by a massive amount though.
Yeah.
I think it's
C+.
still I
think
I
7 cards is really valuable.
yeah,
It's
but
got
I'd
one
rather
instead of
have it than these cards.
That's fair. All right, B-.
I'd rather have Treasure Cruise than Cup.
True.
It's also generically, it's far more generic of a card.
I do enjoy a good Hawkinson.
Yeah, it's a very good value engine. Like,
I put in like B, I think.
yeah, I agree. You're happy with this in most decks. Opposition.
I haven't been able to build opposition in this cube yet.
Yeah, I think it is probably like similar to Upheaval in that the payoff is probably not worth the effort.
Yeah. Like, opposition can still lock people out, I'm sure. It's just been a lot harder to get that to happen.
Yeah. The
I
antiquity. Okay,
love
this
the
card has
antiquity
read
card.
ahead. This card has
Yes.
read ahead. That matters a
It's
lot.
super fun. One of my last decks recently, like the only reason I could win games is because I had the
Yeah,
antiquities.
like
before
this
my
card,
deck just
it's
spat out a bunch
very,
of artifacts.
very reasonable for this card to say 4 mana. If it's turn 4, you win the game.
Yeah, yeah.
And if it doesn't
Um,
say you win the game, you can set it to chapter 2, get the artifact you need, and then
yes,
win the next turn. Card's
yes,
great. This card is
yeah,
this card is one of the top end like artifact deck cards. I think this card.
yeah,
I would rather have this card than Urza. I think.
yeah. B then. I think it goes in B
Yeah.
pretty comfortably. Comfortably. Yeah, yeah. I stand by that.
Yeah. B.
All right. All in all, blue is better than white. White battle.
There's some blue cards that are bad.
Yeah, that's just because we're still supporting Oracle.
I mean, that's true for Armageddon and Refugees too.
It's
Old
true.
F cards are because we're still supporting it. Okay. The Bogle of all time. 2/1
God, this
hexproof
thing
proc.
is so fucking obnoxious.
Yeah. It's great in Reanimator, but even if you're not Reanimator, it just doesn't die.
Yeah. I don't know. The card is really obnoxious. B minus, I
I
think.
think it's C plus. Like, I don't think I'm going into black for this ever.
That's fair. It is really solid playable. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
C plus.
I'm
I like it.
happy to play it, but I wouldn't like. I'm playing it because I'm in the colors already. Future Limp is a
Uh,
far worse version of that card.
yes.
C
D
minus.
plus.
I think C minus. Like,
Okay.
you still need the discard outlets to make
In
Reanimator work.
Reanimator, yeah, it's true.
Okay, how
Hey,
about
it's
actual factual
Bob.
bulb? Where did we put?
I mean,
I
I play actual factual Bob like basically all the time.
yeah, I do think I think I'd rather have bulb than Ashen Burst. I think it's B minus.
I like
Like
it in B minus. Yeah,
cards are so good,
it's
and
true.
so many things cost little to no mana.
It's true.
Uh,
Dothy is a strong card. The double black is tough.
yeah, I probably put it comparable to Ashen. Like I'm loving this card if I'm playing black, but double
I
black is
think
too
the
hard.
double black bumps it down a tier to C.
I think the double black bumps it down. I think if it was one black, it'd be a Dark Confidant, because
Okay.
you get to
Sure,
cast
alright.
some fucked cards with it. Like
Alright,
if
I
you
respect
remove
that.
the 2 mana 13/13, now you get the 2 mana 13/13.
It's true. I do like
Okay,
it.
this card sucks. This card's not good.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably still like in. It does have Death Touch notably, which means it's pretty good against
Yeah, but I don't want to play this card ever. Like,
E.
yeah, I'm close to putting it in F. Oppo
E.
Agent, a lot.
It's better,
It's a lot better than Aven Mind Sensor. Probably C
but
minus
not.
still.
Yeah, no, not that much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ormondal.
Is pretty
Ormondal
chill.
is very fucked. It
I didn't know
flies.
he would
It's
kill like that.
overstated and also flies.
Combo him with Crabless Bundler to have your best dreams ever come true.
This card, this card, with like if you're fighting 2 mana 13/13, this card like gets close to racing it because of life.
Yeah, card is pretty fucked.
I would strongly consider going into. I think it is at worst A minus. Like
yeah,
I
like
would
it in
much
A-
rather
as
have
well.
Ormondal than it that writes as one.
Yeah,
This wins
I think,
games.
Yeah, I think it into yeah, I think it like is a little better than Tobita, which is
Yeah.
saying something.
But it's also a lot worse than Ludwig, so I think it's
Yeah,
fine.
and all the other fuck shit in A.
Yeah. Rolling Reggie. This card does fucking kill you. Like,
It's true.
don't underestimate the dinosaur.
It's fair magic's 2 mana 13/13.
Yeah,
Just like a C.
yeah, Legacy. I love him. I'm so glad this card exists.
Really funny.
Sagmore Witch, bad mentor.
What about bad?
The
Yeah,
the
where do we
combo
put men-
isn't here. Mentors in C, C minus, D
D
plus.
minus. Yeah, you can. I'd give him the D. Give
Yeah,
him the
D plus. Buried Ogre. So you start with one card less, and if you have a reanimation card, it's very useful to have.
Yeah. B plus. Where do we put?
I think it
where do
is a good amount weak. Like
where do we
minus
put
one
Git
card
Probe? Git
is
Probe's in B plus, right?
Git Pro. The information of Git Probe is so
Yeah.
important.
So I think it goes down a tier from Git
I
Probe
think it
to
goes
B.
down 2 tiers. Like
I don't know. I
Info
think this
matters
card is
so
like
much.
a better just start of game effect than 2 life, which we agreed is a B minus.
that's fair.
I'd give it a B.
Yeah. It feels so nothing, but the card deck size
It's
doesn't
not,
matter a
though.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Deck size matter. If you have
Having-
any way
Having
of
a small
using-
deck matters.
if you have like a Treasure Cruise in your deck, this card is great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If If like a thing that cares about your graveyard at all, this card is like you should probably be looking for it.
Yeah,
You
I like
notably,
Ogre.
this card isn't black. This card doesn't have a mana cost. You
Yes,
don't care.
you run this card no matter what your deck is.
Grief. Free
Good grief.
interaction matters.
Yeah, free interaction matters. Where do we put Solitude? I think it's just as good.
We put Solitude in B. Yeah, I
like it in
I
B.
like it in B too.
Yeah.
Shieldred. The fairest of fair
is
magic.
Really fair. Does notably like kill your opponent. This card I think is basically Hull Breacher too.
I think it is better because it kills your opponent even if they aren't doing anything.
Yeah. Where do we put Hull Breacher?
B minus. I don't
B
think this
minus.
card's B though.
I don't know. I think it's better, but not
Yeah,
that much.
yeah. I think it is upper end of B minus where Hull Breacher's lower.
Notably put Shieldred and Bob into your deck for sweet synergy.
Shieldred and what?
And Bob, who's chilling in B with her.
Yeah, Bob draws cards, surely.
Oh yeah. It's true.
Street Rave. Get probe without the advantage.
Yeah.
The advantage
card...
is. I think the advantage is 2 tiers. Honestly,
yes,
I think this is a
I
B
do
minus.
think this card is worse than Buried Ogre. Yeah.
Yeah, B minus.
B minus.
Forge Fire Automaton. Fuck. So
Turn.
like this card is very black. I have this card. Casting is for 7 is your reanimation payoff, but you really want to like. It's saying less is annoying because a lot of good cards have 3 power, but
this card goes in C minus because it's the exact fucking same as that dumb fucker who's in C
no. It's so much better than Dauntless. So, sorry, like yes, mana value 2 is better than power 2 or less.
But it doesn't have to attack.
Yes, it is an upkeep trigger. That's so important.
The Forge Fire and Reggie chilling in C.
Yeah, the 3 mana lads.
The lads.
It's a reanimation payoff. I think it is like if we put Bracella in B minus, Iona in C plus. I think this is C.
I believe that Archon of Cruelty is the best real Magic reanimation payoff.
Over Gristlebrand and Iona?
Yes, I believe it is the best fair Magic payoff. Like the Magic community as a whole has it is the best reanimation target. Modern Reanimator plays it over Brand.
Modern Reanimator doesn't have a choice. They don't get to choose non-legendary creatures, and Legacy Reanimator plays Bristlebrand over it.
But that's true. But I do think it is.
I think it
really
is less fucked in this cube than it is in regular Magic because cards are so much better. Stopping your opponents from doing things matters more because the cards are better. I think it's probably C plus, but it is higher than Iona.
Yeah, I like it in C plus.
I think Gristlebrand also chills there.
Yeah, Gristlebrand is I think a little worse, but not that much worse.
I think Arkle and Gristlebrand are like the better 2, and then Iona is below that, and Bracella is above it.
It's true.
The worst Flipwalker.
Yeah, Lily of the Veil, but what if she reanimated instead of sacrificing?
Yeah, which is worse, honestly.
Which is worse.
Being a +2 instead of a +1 is pretty relevant, but Lily of the Veil isn't that good. I think she goes in D+.
She's not in the cube yet.
I'm not happy to play her, but I'd do it if I had to. Slaughter Pact is very good.
A.
Yeah,
this might be an A+.
Yeah, I'm not I do think this is an A+. Removal's so good, and it is the best removal.
Yeah, it beats Ludovic's Domination.
Yeah, I'm not picking it over Pact, but I am I would not pick. There's no S tiers that I'd pick under Slaughter Pact. Yeah. It's probably it's probably one of the. It's the generically best A+ card. I think A+ will be a combination between cards that just almost win you the game instantly and extremely fucked interaction.
I agree.
Booster Tutor, notably, gets a pack of this cube.
Yes, there are fucked cards in this cube. 1 mana to get a fucked card from this cube is very good.
Into hand, notably.
Into hand.
This is a hand tutor. I think this card
B+.
Yeah, it's a tier higher than Enlightened and Mystical, so yeah.
Yeah. The cards it gets are super fucked. You grab Lotus is not a especially broken roll for this.
There's a lot of times where it gets a Mox and a 1 mana Mox is still good. Okay, this card is so fucked. any land that taps for 2 mana and this is a 1 mana adds 6. If
Yes.
you have a Time Vault, you fucking win.
Yes.
I think this card is I don't think this is a combo card. I think if you're playing black, you're playing this card if you have anything that does anything good
Yeah.
with it. I think this card is. I think I would strongly consider trying. I think it's B plus or A minus. I
I think
love
it's
this
B
card.
plus. It's very strong, but you do have to build around it. But the build around is like
The build
the
round's
only card
really
winning the
easy and the
game.
reward is very big.
Yes.
Uh,
Dark Ritual is a good storm card, but substantially weaker.
yeah. I think it's a Mind's Desire type of card.
Yeah, I can
Play
see
it
it
in
B
the same
minus.
like you.
You could also play it in fair decks just to put out big mana early.
Mhm. Yeah.
Reggie
Turn
on one,
turn
Reggie
one
on
turn one Ormondol kind of good.
It's true.
This card is.
F.
Yeah, it just kills you
Yeah.
like some amount of the time. I think it is better because
F.
it is still a tutor,
E.
but you don't want to play it.
It's true.
Entomb.
Uh,
Are you playing Reanimator? There's like 2 other cards that are good with it, but mostly are you playing Reanimator?
I mean, it's pretty good. I think it goes above the
I
Reanimator
think
targets.
I think if we said Bracella is
B minus, it is like the best Reanimator
it's
worth B minus.
basically just like Bracella, it is very very good if you have the reanimation cards, but you're not picking it before you have the reanimation cards.
Yeah, you can sometimes play Entomb and Storm as well, and it's not bad.
Yeah, Fatal Push. This card kills a lot of things it has to kill. I think
Yeah.
this card is comparable to Swords.
I think it's a little worse than Sword. I'd give it B.
I really like this card. Like the thing is, 13 life is a fuck ton of life, and this kill. I guess Exile is probably the reason I agree.
Yeah, I think it's.
I think the life and the targeting
kill the big
restriction are
fish.
comparables, but I think the Exile bumps it a tier higher. I think this is the best 1 mana removal in B tier. I think it's far better than Path and Solitude, but.
Absolutely, but I just think Swords gets a little bit of
Okay,
jump
Vamp
on it.
Tutor. This is the best normal tutor by it's
I-
definitely a tier higher than these tutors.
Yeah, I think it chills with Booster Tutor.
Yeah.
Booster Tutor tutors
They're
the hand, but
yeah,
it's a little
tutors
less
the hand,
consistent.
but less consistent. Cabal Ritual. This is far worse than Dark Ritual. I think it goes in C
Yep.
plus.
I bump it all the way to C.
Yeah,
It is
no,
good in
that's
Storm,
fair.
but
That's fair.
yeah.
Getting threshold's actually not very free.
Yeah.
Removal is important.
Removal is important.
This
C+.
fucking Skyclave tier. Yeah, Skyclave tier.
Concession to us needing more removal.
Concession to this card exists. Cards like it exist. You need to be able
True.
to kill them.
They weren't kidding about the horror part.
Yeah.
I
Shallow.
found Shallow Grave pretty hard to pull off in this cube.
Yes, it is the worst reanimation spell. You want to play generic creatures because the generic creatures are really good. I think this card is just kind of not good. I think it is.
Still pretty good when you get back to mana 13/13 though.
Get exiled at end of turn.
They still chunk them for 13.
Yeah, I think this card is C.
I would actually draw. I was gonna put it lower than that. I
Oh,
was gonna
okay.
Put it in,
C
like,
C
D.
minus. Yeah, honestly, D plus. I think
Okay.
I'm playing this if I'm playing Reanimator, but I'm not happy about it.
Sure. I think
This
Corpse
is
Dance
the
is
same
like
card.
the same. Yeah.
This is also
Corporate
doesn't
wants you
target,
to find the
right?
difference between these two
Yeah, no, it's still
pictures.
top card. Yeah. These are the same card. Costing 1 more sucks. Having buyback is a minor advantage, but I don't think costing 1 more actually sucks enough to bump it down a tier. This fucking card.
I don't love this card. It can get the thing. It can.
It's
do the thing it
kind
needs to
of
do,
like an
but-
essence scatter, mostly.
Yeah.
And free essence scatter is important.
Essence scatter is important. Yeah.
I think it goes a
But I
tier
don't
below
want-
negation. I think it's
Yeah,
B
so B
minus.
minus. Yeah.
I think I like it in B minus because it is
Oh,
still
yeah.
removal important.
It's true. Speaking of.
This card
Uh.
is worse than power. I'm putting this as C. I don't
Yeah.
don't think this card deserves C plus.
I agree. Snuff Out on
Snuff
the other
Out's-
hand probably
yeah.
goes.
Yeah, this card is
above,
notably
like,
actually black, but costing 0. I think this is better than Force of Despair.
yeah.
I think it is weaker than Solitude, but I think the card's great.
I think it's about on par with
Yeah.
Fatal Push.
I think it's worse. Adnos.
Adnos,
I
I
have
haven't
not
ad
had.
naused. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't. I don't have much experience with it. Like, I'm sure it'd be fine in Storm, but I don't even think it'd be that good. I think I'd put it like D plus.
D.
I
I just put in D. You gotta populate the
Yeah, that's
sheet.
fair. I have not played with this card, and I don't know how to feel about it.
E.
Fucking.
Look, it's probably good, but I don't know.
So, like, if you're planning to win, like, so okay, the place you would play this is like a tempo or a like reanimator style deck where you play it and then you win the next 2 turns.
Now, just to confirm something rules
Mhm.
wise, real quick, you can play this card. You must be able to play this card while you don't have 30 cards in your deck,
Uh,
right?
no, that's not how additional costs work.
Then this card is awful, man.
Yeah,
This card is like
yeah, no, this
F.
card
This
sucks.
card is
Yeah,
unplayable. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
This card you need to play more than 40 cards, which is like yes, triple Thoughtseize. This card resolving means your opponent doesn't get to play much Magic anymore,
But like
but
you
you have
probably
a
get like a
couple.
turn or two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you need to be playing more than 40 cards. So
And you
yeah,
have to have drawn it. Yeah, I don't like it.
bone shards, good in Reanimator. Um,
Yeah, good
good
removal.
removal. I think it is probably higher than Power Word Kill, but not a tier higher.
Yeah, I like that. Can we take a quick cut, Siri? And I just need to take a quick restroom break, and I
Yes.
apologize. You're gonna have to edit that out now,
I'm
but
just
well,
gonna make it 2 parts.
sure, sure. All right. I'll be right back. It'll just be a minute or two.
Okay. See you part 2.